Hi, I'm Mark Schneider, you're watching Schneider Classics, and today we're working on this 1987 Polaris Star Trak. So I got this bad boy a little while ago. I've already redone all the fuel lines on her. I'm sorry I didn't show that on video because they're pretty simple, they're not that hard. Like, oh, come on. That's pretty good. I'll edit that out. Nah, you didn't see it die. There we go. There we go. She has a nice little handlebar kill switch, which I love. I am maybe replacing the key in this with a dead man switch because one, the key is stupid in this. It only goes in halfway. It still works halfway, and it's only a 2 connector prong. I'm not a huge fan of that, and to be honest, if you really want to steal, I'm gonna be really freaking honest. For a snow machine, most of the times, just disconnect the key and she'll start if you lose your key when you get these old machines. Don't go stealing machines, but if you buy a machine without the key, if you disconnect the key, she'll run. The reason for that is the key is meant as a short circuit. So when you turn on the key, you're completing the circuit to a ground, and you're grounding it out, and you are short-circuiting the magneto. In these older sleds. Newer sleds are a little bit differently, but a lot of these older sleds, if you just pull your key plug, like I'll show you in a sec. My key plug is just disconnected because I don't even want to deal with it. But I am going to be replacing it with a dead man switch, which does the exact same thing. The dead man switch keeps it saying it kills the circuit, but when you pull the switch, so if you fall off and the switch comes with you, it completes the circuit, which then kills the machine. I like dead man switches. The main reason I say get a dead man switch, if you fall off, your machine turns off. Your machine is expensive. You don't want it running away on you and hitting someone else, hitting something else. It's especially if you run into if you fall off your sled and your sled hits a different rider, you don't want to deal with that. So aside from all that information, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be replacing this side's spline and control arm. The reason for this was when I got this sled, the reason I got this sled, someone went and got in an accident with it from the front. It looks like they hit a tree here. They hit this side's all banged up. I've gotten it straightened out as best as I can. I'm probably going to have to in the future go to someone who has a straightening machine, pull out the front, and pull the sides in a little bit more. But for what she is right now, I've got her in shape enough that she'll be perfectly fine. So what I have to do is I have to jack her up, take the muffler shielding off, take off the control arm, and then the spline will slide straight out because it attaches to the ski. Take it off the ski, replace the one on the ski, and then go from here, take the controller, and put them back together. How it works, I can show you right here. So I got some Facebook groups are awesome because sometimes they come in clutch. They really do. This is your control arm. It's very easy. This is what hooks up to your linkage that it steers it, and it hooks up straight here from the splines. This is your spline. This is what hooks up to your ski, and then the spline. How this works, if I can show this on camera, try and show this better. You see all these little tiny lines? What those little lines, come on, light, sit, thank you. Each one of those little lines has a counterpart with this. So when this slides into this, I'm not going to fully put it in because she's not going to probably want to come out. So each one of those lines lines up with a line that's on the inside of the circle there. So there's a bunch of little grooves. I'm not going to be able to show you. There's a bunch of little grooves and little lines on the inside as well. So when these match together and then you tighten it on, it's saying she'll turn sharp. What happened with this machine, because she's got in an accident on the right side, someone's hit something, banged it up, whatever. What happened was from the impact, the force, this turned too quickly and snapped about half the splines, half the lines. So it's just a smooth surface now. So if you hit a snowbank, you hit a rough patch, anything, I have no steering from my right ski. My left ski is fine, she turns perfectly. The right ski, if I hit a snowbank and I start to turn right, but the snowbank's too hard, if the snow is too hard for the ski to dig into, my other ski will just keep going that way, and then I won't be able to make a turn as good as I should. That's alright for this machine a little bit anyways, because this is just a one cylinder, because the 1987 Star Traks only came in a one cylinder conversion as far as I know. And that's where a lot of people, if they wanted more power, they went with the long trek and a different version that had, I think the long track did come with 440s. Not 100% sure on that. But if you want more power, that's what you went with. These were just the lighter quads that were a little bit more fun, I think, in my mind, because this thing is actually pretty awesome, and I'm about to show you. So as you can see here, we got our Polaris Star Trak.
Broken promises, oh they just haunt me. I'm locked inside, these feelings can't be free. We were happy, maybe that was just me. All I can remember is how you promised me. You said that you'd be here, but why I'm here alone? I wasted everything, now I got nothing.
So one of my favorite things about this one, because I'm going to use this as my ice fishing machine, probably mostly, because I got, there's the, that's a 440 76 Panther that we're going to be working on in the future, in the coming weeks. She needs wiring. I hate ARHEX wiring because they're a pain. But because of this rack in the back and because of the hitch and just the way she's set up, this is going to probably become my ice fishing machine because she's not super fast. She gets like maybe 25, 30, so far what I've gone up to kilometers an hour, which is still pretty fun. Has a nice rack so I can store stuff in the back here, which I love. I may have to figure out if I can get this working or I'm going to have to replace it. It's supposed to have hand warmers, which is what this wiring is up to here, which is nice. There's the nice little kill switch. And then, underneath the hood, when we lift her up, grab my light. Underneath the hood, this is what you see. What I've already deleted off it, it has a plug for the gas tank down here and one at the top, because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to run a line down the sled and through this little piece and to the top. The reason for that, the reason you run a fuel line down and back up to the top, and that's all it goes, is to see how full your gas tank is. I hate that because that's extra fuel line that can die, and like I said, the extra fuel line, that means there's more in your engine bay, there's more to go wrong. I'm not a huge fan of that. Then this engine setup, this sled setup is, you do not have to put mixed gas into it. And most of the time for these sleds, you do a 40-to-1 gas ratio. This sled, you don't have to do any mix. You just put straight gas in the gas tank because you fill this with your two-stroke oil. Because what happens is when the throttle comes down, it lifts this, that line that goes directly into the block. This throttle lifts up a secondary throttle in the bottom that pushes oil into the bottom of this block. So that's actually really cool. I also have a gravity-fed shutoff right here, which I need to turn off because, as you can see, this is lower than the tank. So if you leave that open, she'll actually just keep flooding the carb. Just a 1-cylinder. Got a huge coil on it, which is crazy. Like, this is a crazy big coil with my pull start magneto. We got our brake system is on this side. So the brake works a little bit differently. So most of the time you have your brake on older sleds like we do on the 72 Snowjet, your brake is on your secondary clutch, and they're all one unit. Because the clutch will be attached to the main machine and then go to your secondary, but the secondary is hooked up to an axle which goes across here to a brake disc clutch, which is actually kind of cool. For me, here's my steering linkage down here. There's not very much slop. I tidied up all the slop because I saw there was steering problems, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll tighten all the slop in the steering. Redid all of the fuel lines, new fuel filter. This hose is actually okay from the old hose. I put a new hose inside here for the pickup. So the old fuel filter works. I had my new fuel filter on her just to test it. And then I tested the old one, and the old one still worked. So put her back on to save some parts for future sleds. Have the steering linkage. The other one is easy access, as you see. Or you don't see. I'll walk to the other side. So on the other side here, right underneath your main clutch that's off the engine, is your left side. As you can see, that's the control arm, and there's the spline going through the control arm. She's a little beaten and battered as well, but as you can see, she's still good. All of those are firm. All the splinals are okay, in perfect condition. Well, used condition, but very, very well conditioned. We have our reinforcement bar here, our toolbox, our spare belt. But now, if we go to the other side, here, I may have to take off the exhaust to get to it, which I've already done in the past. But I'll show you afterwards what the splines look like stripped. So I have to go in here, take off that bolt, and she will pop, the control arm will come off. And then, if I show you on the ski, so right here, on the ski, what happens is the spline, this is the spline. She goes right through to right here and hooks up straight up to the ski. Now, what's very unique is the suspension on these. The suspension on the old 72, right there, it's just 3 leaf springs. The suspension on the 87 is 1 leaf spring and a shock in the front. None of the suspension for the skis. There is suspension in the track, but all the suspension in the ski in the front is all on the skis and not on the body for these older models. Now, one thing I did promise you to show you. So this is my key. This is my key switch. She's just unplugged. Just don't need to plug her in. Whatever. Like, it does work. Like, right there, circuit's complete. She's shorted out. She's shorted out to the block. But turn the key, it's not. But when I'm working on these old sleds, or if I'm driving these old sleds, it's just easier just to pull that. Screw it. I'm going to get a dead man to replace this key, because a dead man, well, if you fall off, you pull the plug, it turns off the machine. Way safer, way better for driving. Key is good for theft, but your dead man then becomes your key, because if you do not have a dead man plug, you can't start the machine unless you just pull the plug. So if you have an old machine and you do not have the key for it, don't worry. Just pull the plug, and most machines, most generic machines, even up to like late 70s, 80s, some 90s, you just pull the plug and you're fine. This is my throttle that I need to fix in the future. Gonna deal with that later. I need to get a new throttle housing. Choke housing. This is for my choke. It needs a new choke housing. Now into the fun stuff.
Broken promises, oh, they just haunt me. I'm locked inside, these feelings can't be free. We were happy, maybe that was just me. All I can remember is how you promised me. You said that you'll be here, but why I'm here alone? I wasted everything, now I got nothing. Oh, time is all I have, but you took it again. Now I'm here wishing for a time machine, time machine. Take me back. Take me back. If we didn't meet on that rainy day, would we have fallen in love and ends up this way? Don't apologize, just tell me why. Just tell me why. Broken promise. You said that you'd be here, but why I'm here alone?
So I don't know if I can show it well on camera, but definitely between these two, this is the old one, new one, the lines are way less detailed because they've been shaved off. And same with the inside here. The inside here of this one on the old one, she's just completely gone. So now we have to put in our new spline. Now, I can definitely tell this is sat out for a while because there's no more grease on it, where the old one has grease. But I can already tell, like, looking, it has all of its deep splines. Like, this is the thing. This part, the parts I got, actually, the president of the Snowman group helped me out, got me these parts. Big thumbs out to him because he was a big help in this. And then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to wait freaking 3 weeks to get parts. Like, that's a big thing right now. This year is sled year. So getting parts is not easy. But this is the thing. This part has sat in a field. Literally in the field for like the last couple years. And she's rusty and all that, but the splines are still perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with this part. I'm going to throw some grease on it before we put her in. But look at that. So this is the thing. You've had whoever owned this before me, and when they did the impact on this side and banged all of this up, which makes it harder to work on because I have less space on the inside. Whoever banged all of this up, like, don't be stupid. Don't hit things. And things will last. Like, if you're not stupid, things last. I know accidents happen. I don't know the full story. But from other things on this machine I can tell, I think someone was just being stupid with it. Some kid got it and smashed it up. But all I got to do, stick this back onto the ski. As you see here, we have the ski. Stick it back on. And then put her back through. Because it's just a hole. It literally is just a hole through the whole chassis. That's it. Once that's done up, we'll put the control arm over top. And when you guys saw that little floaty bolt in the control arm before, what that does is it lines up on this ridge and locks this in place so you can't lose your ski. It won't drop out on you. A cheap fix, a redneck fix, would have just been to weld the top together and then it would never move. But rather do a real fix, because the reason you do a real fix is then this is meant so you can do an alignment. You can do adjustments when you either if you fix the steering or you do something else. It's meant to do an alignment. See? She just goes in like that. But first,
This can't be free. We were happy. Maybe that was just me. All I can remember is how you promised me. You said that you'll be here, but why I'm here alone? I wasted everything, now I got nothing. Oh, time is all I have, but you took it again. Now I'm here wishing for a time machine, time machine. Take me back. Take me back. If we didn't meet on that rainy day, would we have fallen in love and ends up this way? Don't apologize, just tell me why. Just tell me why. Broken promise. You said that you'd be here, but why I'm here alone? I wasted everything now.
now I almost did an oopsie right there, as you can see, right there where it is. I almost did an oopsie. I almost didn't make sure that my handlebar was straight when I put this on together straight, because technically the control arm on the spline is your alignment. So if your ski's ever out of alignment, this is the part that you got to pull apart and realign. But I actually did okay, because actually she was already straight. I made sure before I even put the part on. She's a little loose right there, but that's because I haven't tightened it up. Now that everything's pretty much together, I just got to put in one more bolt and then tighten all of it up, and she's good.
Now I got nothing. Oh, time is all I have, but you took it again. Now I'm here wishing for a time machine, time machine. Ooh, I need a time machine, something I can rewind all these scenes. Take them.
We got our new control arm in, all tightened up, and our new spline in place, new cotter pin, put all together. Yeah, you can tell that whoever's had it before bashed it up real hard right here. Hit the crash right here. And dunk, scrape. Bent all this out of shape too, so this has to be pulled in the future. It's got to be pulled and all this metal banged out. But for now she's fine. I'm going to put back on the muffler, drag her out of here, and she's all good.
I need a time machine, yeah, yeah. Play, rewind, delete, restart, yeah, yeah. Play, rewind, delete, restart.
watching Schneider Classics. We got this all done up. We got my right spline and control arm replaced. Just an R&R, remove and replace. Oh. Got my steering back as you saw, because I have full steering now, which is awesome. I really love that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you want to see more on the 1987 and Starlink, make sure to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, because we're always going to have more. We still are doing work on the 72. We're still doing work on the Panther, so there's always more videos to come. And we do... Pretty soon I'm going to be starting to work on the 1967 C10. We're going to start getting that truck up and going pretty soon. But I'm glad to have this up and going, and like I said, comment down below what you liked seeing about this and if you need any help with any of your machines. Hope to see you guys in the next video.